Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Absolutely.
All right. So what is going on?
I wore my t-shirt today.
Gotta love it.
How many people even know what that is?
Us?
Pretty much.
Yeah. So
Uh,
anything new?
well, just on a personal note, I have finished all of my external beam radiotherapy and my injections. And when I began this July of 19, my number was 32.6, and now it is at the limit of detection.
Mm,
Anything over 4 they considered to be significant. So 32.6 was,
that was very significant.
yes. They can't say that I am cured, but he came as close to that as he possibly could without saying it.
So we can't tell you it will never happen again, but we're pretty sure.
Have to wait and see. Can't do anything else.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I that's good. That's good to hear.
Yeah.
That's probably it's probably some of the better news for the past year and a half.
Oh, definitely.
Um,
Well, compared to starting out with the nurse saying, "Let me go check with the doctor and see if he wants to take you directly to surgery."
yeah.
That took my breath away.
We may not want to wait for this one. Let's just go. Oh,
Yeah.
there's Art.
It says Art.
It says Art.
Barry.
Here I am. Yep.
Yeah.
Last minute bio break. So
Well, you've actually been waiting in the waiting room for a while too, haven't you?
yeah, but nature called, and
Right.
so
So you ran off.
I went down the hall. So at any rate, so
Oh,
Barry, Mike,
Barry's in here. Barry hasn't said anything yet, so
Well, his microphone's off. Oh, yeah. Now
you need a drum roll there, Barry.
I went down to Micro Center today.
You got one.
5. I got 5 of them.
Wow.
This is the
Raspberry Pi
Nano?
Pico, the Picos.
Pico, right? Yeah.
$1.99. Just have to wait, when they got them in stock to grab them. So I got as many as I was allowed to get for $1.99 a piece.
So they're limiting you to 5.
5,
yeah. Yeah.
Well,
I went down a couple of weeks ago and they had nothing. It looked like somebody had come in there and it looked like the toilet paper aisle at Kroger.
They I don't know if they just were doing inventory or what was going on. They did not seem like they wanted to be very helpful to people today. I don't know.
Okay.
Of course, this is the first time I've been there in probably a year. So you never know. Things could change.
Saturday was absolutely insane.
Hi, Jim.
Hey, Jim.
Jim's here.
Does he have his microphone off?
I don't know.
Nope, it shows is on. Can you hear us, Jim? I take it that means yes.
Jim's kind of in his own little world right now. It's all right. Oh, he's working. He's working on the
He's
microphones.
got something disconnected there, that's for sure.
I got an email the other day. It said, my life is like my browser. I have 19 tabs open and I still can't find out where the hell that music is coming from.
Generally, I find it, for some reason or another, periodically YouTube videos, which I have paused, will decide they don't want to be paused anymore.
They come to life.
Yep.
And then they come to life. And then I've got this chatter going on in the background. And you're right, Mike. Basically, you then go down the tab, bang, 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 looking for who's talking.
Well, you remember a month ago, 2 months ago, I had a news tab open on the other computer and it kept wanting to come back to life. And I'm like, while we were doing the meeting, this news thing just kept going off in the background.
Well, I did that to the rest of you a couple weeks ago too. I was trying to do something else and overwhelmed everybody. I apologize still.
At least we're not cats.
We're not what?
Cats. Oh, okay. I guess you
Oh,
didn't
yeah,
see the lawyer cat.
Yeah, this is, yeah.
Yeah. At least we're not cats.
I saw something today about a cat filter.
Yeah.
Is that real?
That yes, there's a video on YouTube. A lawyer, he started his Zoom chat and was immediately filtered to a cat, and the judge kept telling him there's a filter on and he couldn't figure out how to turn it off. It's hilarious.
And he assured the judge he was not really a cat.
Judge, I promise I'm really here. I'm not a cat. The other lawyer in the other window, he looked a little bored until he realized that there was a cat filter, and then he couldn't help but start to laugh. But the best part of that video was the warning up in the top. Do not record this, blah, blah, blah.
I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not allowed to record anything in a courtroom.
Yeah.
The only recorder is the one punching little buttons on the little machine there.
Well, it depends on the rules of the jurisdiction.
And what the
I'm
judge
sure.
says. Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure the judge probably has some flexibility.
Yeah.
I was involved in a court case probably about 10 years ago. And the most interesting part about it was no one stood up for the judge when the judge entered the courtroom, but he instructed the bailiff and everyone in the courtroom to stand when the jury came in. I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, when it comes to courtrooms, I will never forget the O.J. Simpson trial. Now, that's 26 years ago, 27 years ago, approximately at this point. But that was all recorded. As a matter of fact, that was live TV. Oh, here we go.
It's not the video. It's just the.
That cat looks like it's somebody sat on his tail or something, stepped on his tail.
This right here though. Recording of this live stream is prohibited. Blah blah blah.
Oh yeah.
I just find that funny. That is a according to something I read online, that filter is a Logitech filter from about 10 years ago.
Oh,
And it
okay.
installs when you have a Windows machine and a Logitech camera. And it automatically installs, and it has gotten a lot of people in trouble, not just lawyers.
Well, they deserve it as far as I'm concerned. Okay. Everybody loves lawyers. Okay.
Now that you need to find that video, just Google Judge Cat.
Okay.
It's-
I'll
it's-
take a look.
Oh, we can almost hear you. We almost heard you.
Can you hear us, Jim?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're real low though. You're real low.
Well, speaking of legal matters, apparently they're included in one of the congressional bills that was signed into law recently. There was a small little section that says federal law enforcement or agencies must identify what agency they are with, their name, and badge number. So the idea of somebody rolling up in full tactical gear with a mask and snatching a person off the sidewalk and not having to disclose who they were, carting people off, is a thing of the past.
We'll see.
I hope it's a thing of the past.
Mhm. I'm sure that will be challenged 14 ways to Sunday. That's an eminently challengeable regulation.
Well, I don't know whether it was a regulation or law. I got the impression it was a law.
Okay. Is this federal law?
Yeah, federal. It was included in one of the what started out to be, a 4-sentence bill and turned into a 4-inch thick one.
Well,
Yeah, that doesn't mean everybody's got the message.
no.
Mm.
So I have a question, or I have a situation and a question. Last week I talked about Docker. I have, after assurances from everybody, installed Docker, and it installed fine. The world hasn't come to an end. The computer hasn't crashed, knock wood, and so forth and so on. And if I go look at the processes running, Docker's running. So then the whole purpose of installing Docker was so I could install an application that is supposed to allow you to control from a panel all of your various IoT devices. No, we lost Jim. He must have pulled the wrong plug or something. At any rate, when I'm trying to install using Docker, and this is on a Linux machine, but I understand you can do it on Windows also, is an application called Home Assistant. And that is supposed to let you basically have a control panel for all your devices and not just one brand of device, but a whole myriad of devices, motion detectors, cameras, etc. So I've followed the instructions and I've installed Home Assistant, I guess it is. But I haven't got that working yet. Does anybody have any experience with Home Assistant? Okay.
No, I think Marcus was using Home Assistant. You remember Marcus?
Yeah. You
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
talked about that. Did a nice presentation.
Yeah, I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure he was using Home Assistant.
Okay.
And I have emailed Marcus a few times and haven't heard from him. So I'm not real sure what's up with Marcus.
Well, hope he's okay. Hadn't he just moved homes about a year ago or so? Somehow or another, I remember that. I know
Yeah.
Vicente did, but I thought that Marcus was in the process of changing physical locations too.
Yeah, I don't remember. He was up to something, and that's why he hadn't been to so many meetings. But then COVID came along, and I mean, kind of lost track of him. He just
Yeah.
sort of disappeared. So
So I wonder what happened to Jim.
I don't
He
know. That was weird.
he must have pulled the wrong plug or something.
I don't know. I-
Okay, so no Home Assistant gurus here.
no,
None, at least none present. Okay.
no.
Well, okay. I basically I got it up and running, but I was not able to get it to behave as. And I'd seen several YouTube videos on it, and it looks like a nice scheme for managing your IoT devices. But I was not able to get it to do
What you thought it should do?
what they managed to do in various YouTube videos.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what it is. It is application, I guess you'd call it, that you access from a self-hosted website.
Right.
You go to a particular uh, port address. It's 8123, and you then can add all of your IoT devices and tweak them at will. And I would love to have that. I've got a lot of IoT devices and I'm adding them, if not daily, at least weekly or monthly.
Do
And
you need to flash a certain code like on the light bulbs or something for this to work?
no, this is an application strictly on your desktop.
Yeah. Yeah.
And no, you don't, at least according to the several YouTube videos that I've watched, you don't. You just basically install it, and it is installed on my workstation here, the one I'm using right now, and it's apparently there. It's just when I go to localhost and port 8123, I can't get it to work. So I
It'll
think
come up, but it doesn't function.
it it doesn't come up. It tells me, the browser tells me that can't find that particular port.
Did
And
you?
I've done things like using UFW to open ports and so forth and so on. So the ports are open. I think what am trying to do is to access a website hosted on my own workstation and I may have to put it on a different workstation. That is my plan for the next week.
Have you port scanned it to make sure that the port is open?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I port scanned. I logged into a different server, and then did an nmap on my particular workstation, and bam. Oh, there's Ray. Hi, Ray.
Hey,
Wow, you're loud. I don't know. Did anybody else's ears ring?
Jim was too quiet and Ray's too loud.
I've got external speakers. I don't have any earbuds or phones. But as I showed Leroy earlier, I do have a floppy disk.
Oh, really? You and I are the last generation that knows what those were.
I know what it is.
Some place.
Ray
In a
looks like he's froze up.
Are you frozen, Ray?
Sure
Certainly
looks that way.
looks. Certainly looks. Is there some way to unfreeze him? Oh, he's gone.
I took care of it.
Start poking him with the mouse.
Bam,
Art,
bam.
You and I are the last
the
ones
Ray.
to recognize what a big floppy is. Imagine the stupefying request of a punch card reader.
Well, I'll tell you something. Someplace in a closet, or there's Ray.
There's Ray. He's not
Someplace
frozen now.
my video, everything froze up, and then I couldn't hear you guys. Then I was like, well, maybe they don't want me.
Oh, no.
We were poking you with the mouse. Wake up, wake up, wake up.
Wake up, wake up. All right. You're the one who look like you ought to be asleep. Were you wearing a blanket?
Yeah, it's cold. I'm cold.
Now, Ray, the fact
old.
that you were frozen doesn't prohibit us from not wanting you.
Carbonite.
They're separate things.
Yeah, right.
I've been out on the Bobcat. I think I've plowed the parking lot 2 or 3 times.
Oh.
Having too much fun.
Well, it was fun, and then it would start snowing again.
Is it snowing?
Not today.
He's
I mean,
froze again.
snow.
Snowing here.
He froze again.
Yep.
There he is.
So Art, you were starting to comment about punch cards.
Okay, so someplace in a closet in my house in California, I have a tray. You know, the punch cards used to come in
Oh,
these
yeah.
Good
big
Lord.
cardboard boxes, long cardboard boxes. I've got a tray of punch cards that I used when I was doing my MBA in the late 70s. I have no idea how I would ever get them read if I needed to get the stuff off of them.
You talk to Vicente. Vicente still has some of that stuff.
Yeah.
Does he have a punch card reader?
I think so.
He made one that he ran cards through. It was a homemade deal. I'm not certain it would take 1,000 cards a minute or anything, but
Oh, well,
He made a tape reader too. He
Yeah.
made one that would read tape.
well, I've got tape readers, but and the other thing that I've got is someplace I have, I don't know, small number, less than a half a dozen, I'm sure, of the 8-inch floppies. And I don't have any way to read that either. I've also got 3/4 inch tape or 1-inch tape, 1-inch video. Well, it's 1-inch computer tape, not videotape.
But do you have floppies that are triangle shaped?
I can't say as I do, unless they've gotten crunched somewhere or another. No, Can't say as I have any triangle shaped floppies.
I got a couple up on the refrigerator with magnets.
Oh, I'm sure those are nicely readable.
No,
Well, did you ever use one of those big electromagnets for tape erasure?
Hmm.
no, I've seen them,
Because
but I've never used
they,
them.
they were about this big around. They had typically a handle on them, and you could plug them in and go around the tape a few times, because if it was a 12-inch reel, you have to swipe it a few times, and supposedly that blanked everything out. Now, I would not do that for evidence that was being submitted to the NSA, because I suspect they'd probably be able to read it. But and then I've got boxes of the old
Dad's
digital
back there still. He's not feeling well.
digital tapes, the tape cassettes,
Yep.
the medium size, well, the regular size tape cassettes. And I've got boxes of those things, both audio and digital. So
My brother,
one of these days, after I'm gone, somebody's going to have to put a dumpster in my driveway and clear things out. So
my brother was in the Navy and was a flight engineer on submarine hunting aircraft. And they were
like the
out,
P3s, like the
uh,
P3s.
he started with the Lockheed Electra, the
Oh,
tri-fin.
hmm.
But they were out over the Pacific and realized they didn't have an empty reel, take-up reel. So one of the people said, no problem. So he stuck a screwdriver through the center of the 12-inch reel and started feeding out tape into the slipstream. And that worked really well until the reel disintegrated and he was perforated with all of the fractured pieces of plastic.
Oh man,
Yeah,
like shrapnel.
exactly. I'm not certain exact. Oh, there it is.
What is that, from Star Trek or something?
It's a TRS-80 Model 4. It had to
Wow.
have been a custom made. I
I
have
was going to
never seen
say,
a triangle floppy before.
I haven't either.
It had to be a custom thing.
I thought the Trash 80 had a like the 3 1/4 inch,
Yeah, that's a
actually 130 millimeter was the actual size, but
Well, you can't spin that.
well the center
no,
still
the
looks like
media's the media's
would be
inside.
round. Yeah,
Yeah, but if you look at the open port where the heads would come down on it,
yeah, that doesn't look right.
it
Yeah.
doesn't look right.
Looks like it's too far out.
They did. I did have a triangle CD. It was a custom deal, only held like 100 megs or something, and it would spin just fine. But it would sit in the tray, and it would spin. So
Yeah, well, it'd be different.
There was a TV show. It was called Chuck, I think, and they were always doing this whole espionage and secret agent thing. And one of the problems they had was there was a triangle-shaped floppy disk, and it would only be read on one certain, players. And it really was more of an inside joke for people who watched that TV show, the series Chuck.
that's what. Yeah, that TRS-80 in Model 4 in Chuck.
Okay.
Okay. We're,
Well, the TRS 80 would have been what, 78,
uh,
80?
somewhere in there, in that neighborhood. Yeah.
Because I know we had a bunch of them on a production line in California in the early 80s. We used them for capturing test data.
83 through 91, according to Wikipedia.
I thought they were earlier than that, but okay.
Well, the Model 4, maybe the Model 3 would have been. Model 3 was 77. Model 3 looked very much like the Model 4.
Okay, because I had a test engineer who was deploying them all over the manufacturing test floor. And I know that was in 81.
Now, were those CPM machines?
Oh, yeah. You're talking about the CPM operating system.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they, a thing I remember specifically about them was that when you did a file copy, they put the source and the destination in the reverse order.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're used to using the DOS order and you put it in,
I thought he was in the back. He wasn't feeling well.
so
Blood
at
sugar
any
dropped
rate,
a lot.
the upshot of it was that a lot of people overwrote their good data by putting the source and destination file in the opposite direction.
Good
No.
human engineering.
Oh yeah,
That's
yeah.
a Model 2 with
Yep.
with the 8-inch floppy.
And what year was that?
I don't know. Come on, internet. 79 had to be older than that.
Wow.
79 sounds about right.
$3,450.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they were expensive.
The that's a Model 3 and that's a Model 4.
Yeah.
So they I think the case color changed.
So why I keep finding them up here?
Mine was
one
an
of-
older model because I had to record mine to cassette tape.
Yeah. Yeah, well they made Model 4s that didn't have floppies,
Yeah.
so you could update you could upgrade them. But I think one of the big differences was how much memory they had.
Yeah.
Like one had 16K and one had like 64K or something.
Okay, what's the LDOS there?
LDOS.
There
I have no idea. Pictures.
were a lot of roll your own
There were a
operating
lot of
system.
there were a lot of independent things going on back then. There was a lot of
I want to open up every one of those crates, get all the tubes out.
there was actually a lot of code sharing between people.
Why don't you have shoes on?
A lot. It's weird, we share code now, and we call it open source, but we were doing that since like the 70s,
Well, that's true.
and it wasn't called open source. It was called, let's go sit in the hacker room and
Yeah.
copy code around.
Yep.
I saw it wasn't there, so I went to lunchroom and it was like almost there.
That was in the good old days with the telephone modems, telephone acoustic modems. Oh yeah.
There was a Commodore 64 users group that met at AK Steel,
So that's how you.
mid 80s. Everybody would go in carrying their Commodores, carrying their monitors, carrying their floppy disks, carrying everything in there. We'd set up large room, probably 50 of us in there. What'd you get today? What'd you
That was
get? What'd you
room-
get? We'd
That
just
was
start.
room 10 in the basement of the training building.
Yeah. We just start
Where
passing
was
discs
where
around.
was where was this?
Middletown Works, at the time it was Armco.
It was Armco Steel, room 10. It was in the training building down in the basement, and there would be 50 or so guys down there, all of us carrying our equipment. And then somebody got a Commodore SX, which was the portable version, and everybody went crazy because they could just carry one thing in instead of 50 things in.
Would anybody ever work on an Osborne?
I've seen them.
I've seen them. I have not worked on one.
Yeah, well, they first of all, they were centered like 5 miles from my house in Hayward, California, and they one of my colleagues from a previous job ended up as the HR VP there, and so he had one. They were not a portable at all, by the way. These things weighed about the same as a fully loaded suitcase ready for international travel.
They were luggable.
That's
Yeah,
my
if
first
you had
compact
a
was like that. It was a luggable. It wasn't really a portable.
yep, Yep.
That's a luggable.
yep.
Yeah. That was kind of
And-
modeled
and-
after the Osborne.
And by the way, they had and Adam Osborne managed to kill the company. He announced the Model 2
He didn't want to leave this. He was just talking.
before
Here,
it
man.
was ready for release and manufacturing.
We gotta go see
So-
Mom's dog in
So
there.
what happened was
Come here.
he basically killed the market for Model 1. They didn't have Model 2 to ship. And so bang, they basically, you talk about shooting yourself in the foot. This is like shooting yourself in the head.
Yeah.
He was an interesting
cap.
guy.
No income.
You got it. No income, couldn't raise capital, blah, blah, blah. It was a sad situation. He was an interesting guy. I met him a couple times, and he was they, as I say, they were right up the road from us. So
I'm trying to remember, one of the first portable machines had a red plasma
Hey, Ray, I see you. I'm going.
display.
See you later, Dad.
I just had to
And
balance back
after you looked at it for about 5 minutes or so, if you looked away, the world was a nice green color.
oh
I
yeah,
can't remember the specifics of who had that. It was very sharp, very precise, but unusable.
well,
Yeah.
it didn't have graphics though, right? It was strictly text.
No, they would do graphics.
I don't remember.
Because the Osborne, I don't think did any graphics at all. It was strictly text, as I recall. Strictly command line.
Was it the compact maybe? It was a luggable.
I just don't remember. I remember a lot of things, but I don't remember that.
There were several of them, but they would do graphics because I had one and it ran Windows 3. I had one of
Interesting.
the something that was